Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Martin Laurent might break out of prison and start a new chapter in the drama. Will Martin end up getting even with Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers? Since Martin has been effectively impersonating as Alan Laurent since their mutual balcony tumble last year, we must consider this from his point of view. Before Martin erred by abducting Sharon and Phyllis for his experiment, no one had any suspicions. Despite his self-serving desire to outsmart his brother, Martin believes that Phyllis and Sharon ought to be appreciative of his assistance. Although Martin believes he brought out the humanity in Sharon and Phyllis, his approach was clearly perverted and extremely unsettling. Martin's pushing Phyllis and Sharon into that perverse entrapment trap is unacceptable. Martin, meanwhile, continues to think he is superior to everyone else and that he is intelligent. Martin's ego caused his downfall when Sharon and Phyllis used the fictitious failure of his experiment to coerce him into making a confession. In summary, Martin became careless about this Phyllis and Sharon clinic problem, which caused his fake to fall apart. Then, when Sharon and Phyllis set that confession trap, the Alan illusion was totally destroyed. To put it another way, Martin has good reason to hold Phyllis and Sharon responsible for his life as Alan collapsing. Alan might still be engaged to Tracy Abbott at this time if things hadn't gone awry with Sharon and Phyllis. We should think about the likelihood of an escape plan since Martin might be planning his retaliation while confined in his detention cell. If Martin were to make a hasty escape at any point, we wouldn't be shocked. Perhaps YNR wanted to maintain the possibility of employing Martin for further mayhem in the future, which is why they kept him alive rather than eliminating him in a spectacular fight. If Martin goes after Phyllis and Sharon for revenge, that dramatic confrontation might still be on the horizon. Even though Martin is in prison, Phyllis isn't experiencing the kind of closure she had hoped for. If Martin died, would Phyllis feel better? Could Martin's terrible fate have been brought on by Phyllis herself? If Martin isn't really gone for good, Phyllis might not be able to go on with her life, despite her forecasts to the contrary. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Martin's menace may loom large over Genoa City. Keep checking back for any updates on any concerning developments. As Claire Newman postpones moving in with Kyle Abbott, Victor Newman and Audra Charles will make a repulsive deal, according to The Young and the Restless recap for Friday, April 11th. Audra will confess to Sally Spectra at the GCAC that Victor promised to allow her to manage a Newman division, but there are conditions attached. Sally will find the entire situation repulsive and risky after learning more about Audra's plan to lure Kyle away from Claire. Audra will counter that there isn't really anything that needs to happen with Kyle. Since Victor disapproves, this is merely an attempt to place Kyle in a precarious position and ruin his relationship with Claire. Sally will continue to doubt Victor's reliability and be concerned about the possibility of Audra's connection with Nate Hastings being jeopardized. Audra will counter that even if she is playing with fire, Nate never needs to know the specifics and will be sure that she won't be harmed. Victoria Newman and Victor will quarrel about Claire's romance at the ranch once more. Victor will continue to anticipate that Claire and Kyle's relationship will fail, even though Victoria will try to defend Kyle as a wonderful boyfriend. Victoria will question why Audra is there when she appears on Friday's YNR episode. When Victor suggests that Audra might be offered a job, Victoria will leave with a doubtful expression. Audra will acknowledge that she is prepared to support Victor's idea, but she will have certain requirements. Audra will reveal that she wants a written, unbreakable business agreement because Victor will be receptive to hearing them. In addition, Audra will prefer a business like Glissade to a division, one that won't be taken from her this time. Once Audra explains that this business is a component of her Kyle plan, she will make it apparent that she wants to handle things independently and in her own way. Victor would concede that Audra is a tough negotiator, but he will comply with her requests provided she helps Claire see Kyle for who he truly is. Victor will claim they have a contract because Audra will believe he can consider it done. Kyle will flirt with Claire at Crimson Lights about how much they miss each other when they're apart. A serious conversation regarding the next stage will follow Kyle's light-hearted suggestion of living together. Claire will be receptive to the idea of ultimately getting a house with Kyle, but she will feel that this conversation is a bit premature. Kyle will undoubtedly be thrilled about the prospect, even if he won't want to put Claire under any strain. Claire will bring up Victor's potential agitation. Kyle will reassure Claire that living together would just be about them when she questions if he's trying to prove something to Victor. Claire will express regret for questioning Kyle's intentions and want some time to reflect. Kyle will make fun of Claire for living in a fantasy world, even though she will hope Victor will change his mind and accept their relationship. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Victor and Audra's plot will put Kyle and Claire through additional romantic obstacles, so keep an eye out for any unsettling developments. You should make CDL your go-to source for smoldering Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. Teasers and spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Billy Abbott can find himself in a tight spot as his fresh start is threatened by a cunning plan from another character. Fans have noticed Billy's recent confidence, but there is a cunning conspiracy afoot that might change everything. Aristotle Dumas sent out an alluring offer. Billy was approached by Aristotle Dumas with an alluring proposition that, if everything goes well, would enable Billy to regain control of Chancellor. Billy is very much looking forward to the possibility of taking back control at Chancellor and making Victor furious. However, because of information provided by Michael Baldwin, Victor Newman is aware of Aristotle's treatment of Billy. Victor is probably able to make an accurate prediction, even though he may not be fully aware of Billy and Aristotle's plans. Victor might have a legitimate suspicion that Billy is still bitter about Chancellor's passing. Victor is putting Billy Boy in danger. Victor is the one who set the trap we talked about, thus this assumption can work to his advantage. Victor intends to use a crafty strategy during the week of April 14th to 18th, and it will be interesting to see what he has in mind. Given his substantial role in Victor's recent schemes, Michael might end himself helping Victor again. Whatever the details, Victor will undoubtedly come up with a cunning plan to target Billy. There will probably be a plan in place to deceive Billy and put Abbott Communications in danger. Billy could detect the scent of a mustachioed rat. There is undoubtedly a possibility that Billy may swiftly recognize what is going on and effectively thwart Victor's next move. He might try to outmaneuver Victor if he suspects something is wrong, if he notices in time. But it's also possible that Victor's plan may work and Billy will become confused. Billy may unintentionally give Victor information throughout this procedure that could endanger the Chancellor takeover strategy or even his cooperation with Aristotle as a whole. Furthermore, Victor's trap for Billy might be an attempt to lure Aristotle out of his solitude, which would be problematic for Billy if Aristotle gets scared and flees. Aristotle is essential to Billy's strategy. Billy's strategy depends heavily on Aristotle Dumas, therefore it could go horribly wrong if Victor scares him away and breaks his agreement with Billy. Billy might believe that Aristotle could be a silent partner or perhaps collaborate with him directly after he comes out. However, if Victor's trap works as Victor and Michael believe it would, Billy's scheme will be completely destroyed, and Aristotle will have to go back into hiding. Billy being the camel, that would be the final nail in the coffin.